Hey everybody, sorry about that. I was having major technical issues. You'd think that a millennial will be able to figure that out, but first time going live on YouTube, so sorry about that. Okay, so I'm just making sure that you guys can all hear me. So Pops, if you can just confirm that you can hear me. I'm gonna get this set up for you guys. I'm gonna 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 Okay. Sorry about the delay. 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 Okay. And everybody still can hear me? If you can, let's see. Oh, shoot. Can you hear me? Okay. Is there any feedback? Can you hear me when I'm talking right now? Alyssa, can you hear me? Okay. Yay. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Okay. Is there any feedback? Okay. All right. I'm like getting feedback when I'm talking, so I just wanted to make sure that you guys aren't, and so I just muted my own computer. Okay. All right. So I'm going to try to brighten up the room here. Okay, so I'm not going to play music for this class. So if you guys feel free to play some music on your end, I'm just going to try without for now and see how. Like this is the first time for me doing this, so I'm just going to try for now to see how this works in terms of if you can hear me and all of that, and no distractions, anything like that. But feel free to put on a little bit of music, whatever playlist that you like. For this class, we're going to need a blanket and a strap, or a towel. A towel works as well. Let me get my strap. And then you're going to need a blanket, some blocks. If you don't have blocks, books, like heavy books work, or like thicker books. You just basically need something that you're going to prop up yourself when we're in any sort of posture, really. So I want everybody to start. Well, first of all, good morning. I hope everyone has had a nice sleep. Is a little bit more restful than maybe others that they've had recently. But so this morning's class, we're going to do a gentle yoga class. It's going to be not quite as vigorous or rigorous as a normal vinyasa flow, but we're going to give it. We're just going to start off these classes with a little bit of breathing exercises, a little grounding, a little bit of centering, and then we're going to move through some warm up, more of a like a gentle flow, and then we're going to basically open up. And all of the joints in the body, get them a little bit lubricated, and really just hit all those major spots that we get a little bit tense into: the shoulders, the hips, the back, all of that. So I want everybody to start by sitting on anything that they feel comfortable. So I'm going to have a pillow. I'm just going to sit in an easy seated position, and this is whatever you feel comfortable in. So it could be on your knees like this, maybe with the pillow underneath your knees. Or you could sit cross-legged with the pillow underneath your sits bones. You want your knees to be above, I'm sorry, your hips to be above your knees. So for me, this pillow isn't doing it. So I'm going to take my 2 blocks and I'm going to sit on the blocks. And you can stack pillows, you can stack the blankets on the pillows, anything that, if you're sitting cross-legged, anything where your hips are above or in line with your knees. So I'm going to start just by a little bit of breathing, a little bit of grounding, just some centering to get us focused and ready for the practice. So if everyone can close their eyes. And just take a deep breath in and out through the nose. Actually, let's take a deep breath in through the nose first. And then out the mouth. Let's do 2 more like that. Inhale through the nose. As deep as you can. And then out through the mouth. One more time. Inhale through the nose, the biggest one yet. And out the mouth. And then keeping your eyes closed, just start to notice everywhere in your body where you feel a little bit tight, or maybe a little bit stressed. And keep breathing through the nose. So we want to concentrate most of our yogic breaths, we want to be inhaling in and out through the nose. And there's a slight constriction to the back of the throat. We call that ujjayi breath. And that kind of creates this oceanic wave sound in the back of your throat. But if you don't want to try that right now, it's totally up to you. But if you do have ujjayi breath in your practice, now is a good time to start that. But we want to focus on inhaling through the nose and out through the nose. So continue to breathe here and let's just start doing a mental scan of our body. And starting with the head and the forehead. And try to remove the crease of the brow. Any tension that you're holding in the eyes, just lightly fluttering them closed. And then any tension in the jaw and in the mouth, just let that go. And then the neck, we want our neck to be long and straight. So like somebody is pulling the crown of your head with a string tied to it to the top of the ceiling. That's what we want to feel like our neck is getting longer like that. And then we want to drop our shoulders down and relax them. Drop the shoulder blades down the back. And like somebody has a string tied to the top of your head, like somebody's pulling you up towards the ceiling. See if you can get long and lean in the spine. And just relax your sit bones into whatever you're sitting in and sitting on. Keeping the eyes closed, continuing to breathe deeply through the nose. And then see if you can lengthen the breath so that maybe your inhales and your exhales are equally as long. And maybe you start to count the inhales on the count of 5. And then on the exhales on the count of 5. Continuing to breathe long, slow, deep breaths. And with each breath, feeling the belly expand, the ribs split open, and the chest rise. When each time you inhale, seeing if you can move the breath through each part of that body, through the belly, the ribs, and the chest, finding as much space in the front body as you possibly can. And then on each exhale, seeing if you can squeeze every single drop of breath out so that your organs and your whole front side are compressed. You have nothing left to breathe out. And maybe this time with each breath, you take even deeper of a breath, suck in a little bit more air. Just a few more moments of these deep breaths. Deep It's time to notice everything that's going on in your head. Just noticing it, not really trying to fight it, but just noticing any thoughts that you may have that have come up in this past few minutes. And knowing that throughout this class, you will have many thoughts that come up that way. But the wonderful thing about yoga is that we can always return to the breath and return inside to forget and to sort of redirect those thoughts. Let's take one more round of breath together. So let's take a big inhale through the nose. This is the biggest one yet of this class. So take a big inhale here. And then exhale out the mouth. Let's do that actually one more time. One more inhale through the nose. And then exhale out the mouth. And then open your eyes. Good morning, everyone. Now that we're all settled. I want you to take your hands together like you're sort of holding your own hand, and start to roll your wrists. So just slowly warming up the body. You can kind of go in circles or figure eights. Just warming up the wrists. We're going to be on tabletop and downward dog for a lot of the class. So we want to definitely have those wrists warmed up. And then maybe if you can kind of fold your hand back like this, and like this, stretching out the wrists. And then maybe you do it this way, and forward, and then the other direction. More circles. Make sure to change direction if you're going in circles. Okay. So I want you to place your hands on your knees. And then we're going to inhale. We're going to pull our chest through our shoulders. So actually, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see how I'm doing this. So we're doing some seated cat-cow. So we're pulling our chest through our shoulders. I'm going to inhale breath, and we're going to look up and arch our back. And like somebody has a string pulled or a chin and pulling it up to the ceiling. And on the exhale, we're going to round and curl. So we're going to round our back, curl our chin into our chest, and shrug our shoulders up to our ears. And then inhale, we're going to reach our chest through our shoulders and look up. And then exhale, round and curl. It's warming up the spine. If you want to close your eyes here, you may do so. Inhale through the chest and look up. You can use your hands and your knees to pull your chest through. And then exhale, round and curl. Just a few more rounds of those. Those seated cat-cows in your own breath. Let's do two more together. Inhale up. And then exhale, curl. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, curl. And then on the inhale breath, we return to neutral. Take your left hand and place it on your right knee. And then take your right hand and just place it on your low back. And we're going to find a little bit of a seated twist here. So as you inhale, I want you to feel like somebody has that string again attached to the crown of your head, and reach your spine long up to the ceiling. So on the inhale breath, we reach long. And on the exhale, we use the resistance of our hand and our knee to twist. So inhale, reach up, find length, and then exhale, twist. And then maybe you put your hand on the ground behind you. Maybe you can find that space back there. And then we're looking to the side of the room. Inhale, reach up, find length, and exhale, twist. Inhale, find length, and exhale, twist. On your next inhale, return to center very slowly. Placing your hands on your knees, taking an inhale breath, find length here. And exhale. Inhale, place your right palm on your left knee and your left hand behind on your low back or on the floor behind you. Take an inhale breath. We're going to reach and find length in the spine. And on the exhale, we twist. Inhale, find length. And exhale, twist. Inhale, find length. Exhale, twist a little bit deeper. One more inhale here. And then exhale, return to center. Taking an inhale breath, finding a little bit more length in that spine, reaching the crown of your head towards the ceiling. And then exhale out. Okay, so we're going to take our left hand and put it on the outside. So we're kind of going to reach around our head, and we're going to start to, we're going to open up the neck a little bit. So and then take your right hand and place it out to the side in front of you, your fingertips onto the floor. And then you're just going to gently pull your head off to the left. And we're not like really tugging or anything. We're finding a little bit of length here. And you should feel a lot of opening all along your neck and your shoulder here when you do this. And that's what this arm extension is doing. It's finding even more length on this side. So we're taking our head over to the left. And then start to just tip your head a little bit forward and then tip it back. So we're not doing full neck rolls. We're just opening up right along here. We're just tipping our head front to back. And continuing to deeply breathe through the nose. So when you inhale, maybe you tip the head back and then exhale forward. And you can kind of like walk your fingertips out even further to find, once you have a little bit more openness, you can maybe try to walk your fingertips out. Maybe if it's even just a centimeter. And continuing to nod the head forward and back. You should really feel this. And I even feel this like right on my shoulder. So this is a pretty open, deep stretch here in the neck and the shoulder. If you lost your breath, tune back into that. Always breathing in and out through the nose. Take one more breath here. And then release. And then take your left hand and put it on your fingertips onto the floor, and your right hand and take it over to the left side of your head. Just gently tip your head over, feeling the sensation on the other side of the neck. And then start to tip your head forward and back. And any other like movements that sort of you feel called to right now, like maybe if you're just like, you go further even more, or maybe on this side, you just roll it out. I just advise you not to do full neck rolls. It definitely compromises the cervical spine in some ways. So we want to protect that part of it. And just gently open the muscles in the side of the neck. Continuing to breathe in and out through the nose. And then each time you breathe, I want you to really try to feel the sensations that are coming into the neck right here. So feel that tingling, feel that sort of opening, that stretching that's occurring. And just focusing your awareness into that spot. So each pose that we get into, each sensation that you start to feel, focus your awareness to that space, to that part of your body where you're feeling sensation. Take one more inhale breath here. And then exhale, release. Let's take a few more seated cat-cow. So on the inhale breath, we pull our chest through our shoulders and look up. And then exhale, round and curl. Inhale, reach through, look up. And exhale, round and curl. And inhale, return to center. And then we're going to remove whatever we're sitting on. And then come to our hands and knees on tabletop. Actually, no, I'm sorry. We're going to come to our backs. So remove anything out of the way that's in your way. And then we're going to come on our backs, and we're going to pull our knees into our chest. Let me move all this stuff out of the way. Okay. So our knees are into our chest, and just give yourself a little hug here. And squeeze your knees together. Squeeze your knees into your chest. And then start to roll side to side, like you're massaging the low back. So you kind of start to, when you do this, you're making circles with your knees. And this should feel super nice in the low back. It's like getting a massage in your sacrum. And just letting your head hang super heavy on the floor, feeling the connection from the mat to your body. And on your next inhale, draw your right knee, keep it into your chest, and then extend your left leg long. Actually, I can do it on the same side this time. Okay. And when you extend this leg long, I want you to keep the foot as flexed as possible. So see how my foot is flexed? My leg is actually fully engaged. So keep your leg super flexed. And keep this knee flex, or this right foot flexed as well. And just draw it into your chest. And then take it out into like closer to your armpit, so to your right armpit. So we're kind of finding a little bit of space there. And as much as you can, squeeze it into your armpit while maintaining that engagement of the left leg. So we're opening up the left hip flexor, we're compressing the right hip flexor, and we're opening up that hip space. And so on your next inhale breath, start to make circles with that right hip. So with the right knee, we're starting to open up that hip joint and lubricate the hip. So keep breathing in and out through the nose. Making circles with the knee. And then reverse the directions of the circle. And then wherever your towel or your strap is, grab that. Sorry, I should have had you done this before you're on your back, my bad. And then hook your strap or your towel around your foot, your right foot. And then we're going to extend our leg up to the sky. So we're getting a little bit of a hamstring stretch here. So keep the foot flexed and keep a soft bend in the knee. So we're inhaling here. And you can keep the knee as bent as you need to here while you slowly straighten it out. So it doesn't have to, you don't have to lock out your knee and have it like here. See if you can pull it into your chest first, keeping it bent, the knee bent. And then keeping the foot flexed, and then slowly over time, you can start to straighten that knee. We're opening up the hamstring here. You can kind of sway the leg side to side as you breathe. If you are open enough, you can always just grab, not use a strap and grab your foot. But for today's class, we're doing a more gentle class, so we can use a strap or the towel. You should feel some movement in the hip space, making maybe circles, swaying side to side with your legs, just to keep everything moving and fluid. Take one more inhale breath here, and then exhale, release. And then take your left knee and bend it. So we're putting our left foot flat on the mat. And we're taking our right foot and crossing it over our left ankle. So we're finding this figure four. So figure four stretch opens up the outer hip space, so that gluteus medius. And if this is enough for you here, stay here. If you feel like you can go a little bit further, if you feel like you want a little bit more of a stretch, pick up your left foot off of the mat. And then take your right hand and press your right knee away from you. If this is enough for you, you can stay here, or you can take your arms and draw them through your legs on the back of your left thigh and pull your legs even further in. So this is the deepest form of this stretch here. But wherever you need to take this, and remember, this is not about, the nice thing is we're not around a bunch of people, so we don't have to feel competitive. Unfortunately, that is a thing in yoga, but this is your practice. So wherever you feel like you can take it, this is more of a gentle class today, so we don't have to push ourselves in any way. So anytime you're feeling, uncomfortable in a pose, ask yourself, is that true discomfort, pain, or is it just, I don't want to do this? And if you don't want to do it, you don't have to, but you can just try anyway. Take a few more rounds of breath here, opening up that outer hip on the right side. And then exhale, release. And then release the right leg down. Extend that right leg straight. And then this time we're going to draw our left knee into our chest. So draw it firmly into the chest and then out into the left armpit. So we're finding space in that right hip flexor. So we want to extend that right leg straight, keep the foot flexed, and then keep the left foot flexed as well. We're drawing it into the left armpit and then starting to make circles with the hip. So opening up and lubricating that left hip joint in this time. And then reverse the direction of the circles. And then grab your strap or your towel and hook it around your foot and then extend your left leg up to the sky. I'm going to keep my knee bent at first because my hamstring on this side is pretty tight. And then over time, I will start to straighten it out. But keeping this right foot flexed and straight and engaged. Start to open up that hamstring on the left leg. Now's a good time to tune back into that breath if you've lost your breath. Breathe deeply through the nose each time that you feel a little bit uncomfortable or you feel that opening. Maybe it's a little bit tight and you need to breathe through it. Anytime that you sort of feel that uncomfortableness, just return to the breath and see if that helps. Sometimes I like to flex the foot even more here. It actually opens up the calf muscle right here. So if you even pull your toes and flex your toes up towards you, you can feel a little bit more opening in the calf. And then when you sway it side to side, do some circles. Deeply breathing in and out through the nose. And then take one more breath here. And then exhale, release the strap. Bend your right knee and then cross your left foot over your right ankle. We're coming into that figure four stretch. So you can stay here if you like, if this is enough. And start to take your left palm and press your left knee away. If you want a little bit more, you can take that right foot off of the ground, continuing to press into the knee. Feeling the openness in the outer hip right here. Maybe even a little bit in the groin. And if you want a little bit more, you can take your hands and thread them through to the back of your right thigh, yeah. And then pull your knees and your legs into your chest even more. Keeping your feet flexed, that's super important here to protect the knee. And returning to the breath. Deep inhales and deep exhales through the nose. Take one more round of breath here. And then exhale, release. Extend both legs straight out in front of you and then reach your arms overhead. And you're reaching in the opposite direction. It's like a nice good morning stretch. So like reach as far as you can in opposite directions. Maybe rolling the wrists and the ankles. Deep breaths here. And then we're going to draw our knees into our chest and start to rock and roll up and down the spine. And then we're eventually going to make our way into child's pose. Child's pose looks like your knees spread wide like this, but your feet are together. So your knees are spread wide. We sit back into our heels. And we start to walk our hands out in front of us. Extending the arms as far out as you can and sinking back into the hips. And then you rest your forehead onto the mat, or if you can't get there, grab a block or a book and place your forehead on the block. Just like that. So in child's pose, I want you to reach in opposite directions. I want you to think about extending your tailbone down towards your heels at the same time that you're reaching your arms and your hands forward in space. So child's pose, what we're doing here is we're extending, we're lengthening the spine as best that we can, and we're releasing the lower back. And you can start to feel almost your shoulders coming out or like expanding, and like your rib cage, the back of your ribs expanding as well when you're in this posture. And then continuing to breathe in and out through the nose. Just taking a few minutes here to reset our breath and reset our intention for the class. Or set an intention if you haven't yet. A few more moments in child's pose, continuing to breathe. Maybe your eyes are closed. Maybe you start to rock and roll your forehead across the mat. Take one more breath here. And then slowly start to rise up. We're going to come into tabletop pose. So we're stacking our hips directly over our knees. So my hip is right in line with my knee, and then my shoulder is right in line with my wrist. And my spine is totally flat. So if you feel like you're dipping like this, pull the low belly in, and then draw your ribs together. So we're in tabletop here. Walk your hands maybe like 6 inches out, and then tuck your back toes, and then lift your hips up. We're coming into downward facing dog. So you can keep your knees as bent as possible here, or as bent as you need. The goal is, yes, to reach your heels down towards the mat, but it's not to get your heels flat towards the mat. So if you need to bend your knees a little bit, I encourage that. And then press as firmly as you can. So you want your fingertips to be spread wide like this. Spread your fingertips as wide as you can. Your palms are flat on the mat. And then drop your shoulders, or take your shoulders out of your ears. And then, sorry, it's like hard to talk like this. And then see if you can press really firmly into the palms so that you're almost lifting your hips even higher in space just from your palms. Then drop your chest through your shoulders. And then here, I want you to pull the ribs in together. So rather than splaying them out like this, you can literally see how my ribs are splayed like this. Pull the ribs in. And then we're taking deep breaths in and out through the nose here. So inhale breath here. And exhale. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. If you want to pedal out the calves, we did a little bit of a hamstring opener, so this shouldn't be super tight, but you can pedal it out. Or as some people like to say, walk the dog. Stupid. Take one more round of breath here. Inhale through the nose. And then start to walk your hands back towards your feet. And then we want to take, so I'm going to show you how bent my knees are here. So keep your knees bent like this. And then come into that forward fold. So you can grab opposite elbows and just rest your belly and your thighs, or your belly and your ribs on your thighs. So I'm keeping my knees as bent as possible here. I'm just going to hang in this forward fold. This should actually feel really kind of like intense for the morning. Forward folds for some reason are really like hard in the morning. So grab opposite elbows and just let your spine and your neck just hang super heavy. So when I think about this pose, I think about trying to come onto my tippy toes so that I can get more vertical coming from my my spine is like straighter up in the air, or my hips, so that I can hang my spine even further down. So move the weight into your toes. And then just let it hang super heavy. Maybe you sway side to side like a rag doll.
Take one more deep breath here through the nose. And exhale out. And on the inhale, slowly start to come up about halfway here. So take your palms onto your shins. And then we're here in this halfway lift, as we like to call it. We want our spine to be super long and straight. And our hands are either on our shins, they can be on the floor if you can reach that, but on our shins or even on our thighs. But you want to find a long, straight spine. So you can inhale breath here. And then exhale, fold one more time. Bending into the knees, letting that chest and the belly hang on the thighs, rest on the thighs. So you can inhale breath here. And exhale. Inhale, come up halfway, one more time. So finding that length in the spine. And again, like how somebody has that string attached to the crown of your head, pulling it forward. Finding length in the spine. So you can inhale breath here. And then start to rise, keeping your knees bent all the way up. You can't see me. Let's see if I can turn this. Okay. So we're in a standing pose right now. So what I want you to do is step your right foot forward and then step your left foot back. And then we're going to come into this low lunge. And then if you need to, I'm going to grab a blanket and put it under my knee because my kneecaps are kind of sensitive. So we're in a low lunge here. And what I want you to think about, a lot of low lunges, we sort of let our like hip go forward like this and our pelvis is tilted. I want you to draw a 90-degree angle with your legs. So we're in a 90-degree angle in my back leg and in my front leg. And then I want you to think about seeing if you can almost like thrust your hips forward in space. So rather than the pelvis is tilted back like this, I want you to move the pelvis forward. You should feel a really good opening right here, the upper thigh and the flexor here. And then make sure your knee is right over your ankle in the front and your toes are facing forward. So I always reference my second toe as pointing directly forward. And then conversely in the back, we don't want our ankle to go out or in. We want it to be totally straight. So all of our joints are stacked here. We're protecting the joint space. We're using our muscles rather than our joints to just sink into anything. So we're in this low lunge here. I want you to reach your arms up to the sky. This is an inhale breath here. And exhale. Inhale 2. And exhale. Inhale 3. On your next exhale, cactus, goalpost your arms like they look like this, but keep facing forward, but just goalpost your arms. And then lift your chest up towards the sky. So take an inhale breath here. And exhale. Inhale 2. And exhale. Inhale 3. And then exhale, reach your arms back up. And then frame your front foot with your hands. And then start to shift back. We're going to extend, let me just tie this so you can see better. We're going to extend our legs straight. So we're doing like half splits. So pick up, like you can sort of just wiggle out your leg a little bit further, but we're going to find this hamstring stretch here. So I want you sinking back like this. Try to keep that 90-degree angle. And what helps here also are blocks or books. So what I want out of this pose is your spine to be straight. This need to be at a 90-degree angle, and then we work on the hamstring from there. So keeping a soft bend in that right knee, and finding length in the spine, and then, sorry, I'm trying so you can see it. Finding length in the spine, and then you start to slowly fold over, but only if you can keep that length in the spine, not flat back. And then another thing I really like to do here is sort of turn my toes outwards and then inwards. And that's getting internal and external rotation of the hip space. So we're opening up the hamstrings, we're lubricating the hip joint. Continuing to breathe in and out through the nose.
And then start to pull your heel back in so that we're in that low lunge again. And then place your left palm onto the mat. And then reach your right arm to the sky. So we're in this twist here. And then as you do that, so I'm going to switch directions so you can see. I want you to start making circles with the shoulder. So inhaling, making a circle this way. And then exhale. Inhale forward. And exhale. And each time, see if you can drop a bigger and bigger circle. Inhale here. And exhale. Inhale forward. And exhale. Inhale forward. And exhale back. And then frame your front foot with your hands. We're going to take our back leg and we're going to do it this way this time. We're going to actually angle it this way. So we're going to angle it in. And then we're placing our right palm on the inside of our right foot. And we're coming into this like modified side angle pose. So we're kind of going in the opposite direction of what we just did. So my foot is like towards the wall behind me. And then we're going to reach our arm up towards the sky. And then use your knee and your upper arm and press into each other. So this is sort of, you should feel an opening in your inner groin here. And then this is another good time for a block or a book. So you can elevate. So what I don't want to happen is I don't want my rib cage here to be crunched over. I want to find as much space in my spine as I can. So I'm going to use a block to elevate my spine or to elevate myself so that my spine can be straight. And I'm using my upper arm and my knee to like resist against each other so I can feel a little bit more opening in that inner groin. And then this knee is inwards for balance. With each inhale, maybe you reach your arm a little bit higher. And exhale out. Inhale 2. And exhale out. Inhale 3. And then exhale, release. Turning that back leg straight. Removing whatever block you have in front of you. And then one last time, we're going to straighten out that hamstring. So or the legs, so walking the knee forward, finding that 90-degree angle here. We're flexing the foot, we're maybe keeping the knee slightly bent. Take an inhale breath here. And exhale out. Inhale 2. And exhale out. Inhale 3. And exhale. And then we're going to return to that low lunge. We're going to place our palms on either side of our foot. And then we're going to take our leg out behind us. We're coming into tabletop. Take an inhale breath in tabletop. And then exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips, and press into downward facing dog. So lifting your hips high in space. And I want you to take this moment right now to notice the difference between your right leg and your left leg. Notice how much more open the hip is, the hamstring. Take an inhale breath here. And exhale out. Start to walk your hands back towards your feet. We're coming into that forward fold. On the inhale breath, we come up halfway, placing the hands on the shins, elongating the spine. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way back up to standing. And then this time we're going to step our left foot forward. And then drop our right knee down. So we're finding those 90-degree angles. And then again, we're going to try to see if instead of our pelvis tilting this way, we're going to shift our hips forward, like you're thrusting your hips forward so that you have a neutral pelvis. And then we're finding those 90-degree angles. And then reach your arms up to the sky. Taking deep breaths in and out through the nose. And start to shift or frame your front foot with your hands. Oh wait, no, we didn't do cactus arms, sorry. So we're opening up here. We're opening up our arms like a cactus or like goalposts. And we're lifting our chest up towards the sky. So take 3 rounds of breath here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale 2 and exhale. Inhale 3 and exhale. Release your arms back up to the sky. And now frame your front foot with your hands. Start to wiggle that foot straight out in front of you, keeping that 90-degree angle in the back, finding blocks or books if you need them to keep your spine straight. Then starting to tip your foot out toward the right and to the left, finding that internal and external rotation of the hip, feeling the openness in the hamstring and the hip space. Taking one more deep breath here. And then start to rebend that left knee. We're going to take our right palm and place it on the inside of our left knee and reach our left arm to the sky. Take an inhale breath here. And then start to go back. Inhale forward. And exhale back. One more circle. Inhale forward. And then exhale back. And then frame your front foot with your hands. We're going to switch so you can see. We're going to find that modified side angle. So we're turning our foot inward. We're placing the palm on the inside of our leg, and we're reaching our arm up towards the sky. Take an inhale breath here. And exhale. Inhale 2. And exhale. Inhale 3. And then exhale, release. We're turning our foot forward, or our leg backwards, excuse me. And then we're finding that hamstring stretch one more time. So extending the leg out long in front of you. I think you should be on your left leg at this point, unless you got mixed up and you're on your right, that doesn't matter. As long as you're doing both legs. So take one more deep breath here. And then exhale, rebend that knee. Frame your front foot with your hands, and then step your leg back, and we're in tabletop once again. So now we're going to come onto our bellies. If anybody's pregnant, I would suggest just coming onto your back instead. And I'll cue you if anyone's pregnant. So we're coming onto our forearms, and then we're just going to start to wiggle our way onto our belly. Now we're in Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx pose, we have our elbows in line with our shoulders, and our arms are making the number 11. Our legs are also making the number 11. So our feet want to be about hips width distance apart, and the tops of our feet want to be pressing firmly onto the mat. And look back at your feet and make sure that your ankles are totally straight. So your heels should be facing directly up towards the sky. Then rather than arching the back and lifting your butt up in space, I want you to see if you can pull your tailbone towards your heels. So it's the same sort of movement that we were doing in the low lunge where we're thrusting our hips forward. So pressing the pubic bone, this is a good way to look at it. Press the pubic bone into the mat. And then press firmly into the palms and into our forearms. And then see if you can reach your chest through your shoulders. And we're going to look straight forward. So take an inhale breath here. And then with each exhale, see if you can pull your chest through your shoulders even more. And you're almost dragging your arms back towards your chest. Continuing to draw that tailbone down towards your heels, pressing the pubic bone into the mat. If you want to go a little bit further here, if this is enough for you, I would highly recommend staying here. I'm going to offer a little bit deeper of a back bend if anybody would like it. But I'm going to walk my hands out a little bit further, and I'm going to straighten my elbows. This is seal pose. And again, we're continuing to press that pubic bone in towards the mat. Take one more round of breath here. And then exhale, release back down to Sphinx pose if you're in seal. And then what we're going to do, I'm trying to get some stuff out of the way for you. So we're gonna take our arms wide like a T. And then, so on the first one, we're going to basically do this twist where we're on our side. I'm going to try to, I'm going to cue it as best as I can, but we're on our side right now. So we're going to go on the right side first. So your right arm is out in front of you, or I'm sorry, out to the side. And we're going to start to roll onto the right side. And we're going to take our leg out, either just stack it on top or take it behind you. So we're rolling open the shoulder here, that right shoulder. And you can use that arm and prop it or use the other hand and just prop yourself up. And then just let your neck or your head hang. I'm gonna try to go this side so you can see it, but you can just have your arm like this and just let your head hang onto the ground or just like rest onto the ground. So not only are we getting a twist here, but we're getting a really deep shoulder opener. And you can take this as far as you want. So inhale through the nose. And exhale. Inhale 2. And exhale. Inhale 3. And exhale. Start to slowly roll onto the belly once again. And then we're going to come onto the other side, so onto the left side. So start to reach that left arm out in front of you. And then start to roll onto the left side into that shoulder opening. Let's see. Deep breaths in and out through the nose. Take 2 more breaths here. And then exhale, release, back onto the belly. And then we're coming into child's pose. So coming on the hands and knees, taking our knees wide, our toes are touching together, sinking back into your heels, walking your hands forward. And your forehead is onto the mat or onto a block or a book. Take an inhale breath here. And on your exhale, notice how different this child's pose feels from the last one that we did, the first one that we did. Take one more inhale breath here. And then exhale, slowly start to rise by walking your hands back up to your knees. And we're going to take our knees together. And we're going to sit in hero's pose. So hero's pose is just on our knees. And then place your palms on the top of your knees. If you need to have like a pillow, you can put a pillow in between your knees, and that sort of helps protect it. Sort of like this. And that adds just a little bit of cushion there, so it's not super intense. And just place your hands on to the tops of your knees or your thighs. And then again, we want to tune back into the breath, and we want to tune back into the length of the spine. So where are you sitting? Are you slouching forward? Or are you curving the low back, the lumbar? You want to find a long, straight spine. Close your eyes here. And take this time to come back to the breath. In this moment, we're going to take a little bit more breathing exercises. So I want you to take, I want you to take your hand, your thumb and your ring finger. We're going to use those 2 fingers to plug our nostrils, and I'll explain in a second. And then you have your pointer finger and your middle finger, and you're going to place it onto your third eye, your forehead. So you're going to use your thumb to plug your right nostril, and then you're going to use your ring finger to plug your left. So we're going to do, it's called alternate nostril breathing. So place those on your forehead. Sorry, place your 2 fingers, your peace fingers, on your forehead. And then let's start by plugging our left nostril. So our ring finger is plugging our left nostril. So inhale through the right. And then we're going to hold briefly at the top. And then plug the right nostril with your thumb. Release the left. And then exhale out the left nostril. Breathe in through the left. Hold briefly at the top. Then plug the left, open up the right nostril, and then exhale out the right. We're going to continue to do this for a few minutes. Breathe in through the right. Plug the right, release the left, and exhale. Breathe in through the left. Plug the left, release the right, and exhale out. You got the hang of it, keep going. Three more rounds. One more time on this side. When you finished out that cycle, you can drop your hand down to your thigh and return to your normal breathing. So alternate nostril breathing is a really good breathing exercise for lowering cortisol levels in our body and calming the nervous system. So it's sort of just, I know you can probably feel it after, I feel super calm right now. So that's sort of focusing on just one nostril at a time. It really, really calms you down. So anytime you're feeling a little bit anxious, that's like a really, really good time to practice that. Okay, so, sorry. So we're gonna come down onto our back. We're almost wrapped up here. So I want you to take whatever blanket that you have and fold it so it's in a square like this. And then we're gonna roll it into like a hot dog. So it ends up looking like this. And then I'm gonna place it at the top of my mat. And I'm gonna come onto my back, but I'm gonna put the blanket right up to my sacrum. I'm sorry, the blanket. And then I'm gonna hold the blanket while I lean back so it doesn't move. And I'm just gonna roll backwards. And so that roll blanket should be up the center of my spine. And then my shoulder blades should be hanging off of the blanket. And then if you need, and then your neck also hopefully should be hanging off the blanket as well. So it should be sort of supported by the blanket. And then take your soles of your feet together and your knees are wide. And if you need, I recommend actually putting pillows underneath your thighs like this. This is a full restorative pose right here. So we're not really, we're not exerting any sort of effort. We're just having our thighs rest on the pillow and our back rest on the blanket. And then take your left palm onto top of your heart and your right palm on top of your belly to feel the breath. And we're going to take 10 deep breaths in here together. So inhale through the nose. Exhale 1. Inhale. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhale 4. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale 6. Inhale 7. Exhale out. Inhale 8. And exhale. Inhale 9. And exhale. Last breath, make it your biggest one. And exhale out.
And then remove anything out of your way. Anything that you have. Remove the blanket, remove the pillows.
We're coming into our final resting pose, Shavasana. My actually really recommendation that I might make is using that blanket and put it underneath your thighs right here so that you have a little bit of support in the low back when you come onto your back. So we're coming into our final resting pose. And then I want you to take your shoulder blades and tuck them underneath you. So rather than having your shoulders forward like this, tuck them underneath you. And you can kind of use like your head to press them up and back. And then let your arms hang out beside you. Let your feet open wide. And then come into your final resting pose here. And I want you to take this time to remember all the things about yourself that you love. All the things about your family and your friends. Whatever tension that you have in your body, just let that go for the moment. Return to some natural breathing. I want you to think about all the people in your life that you love. And think about what that they love about you. What are the things that you love about yourself? And are they the same as the things that those people love about you? Too often we place so much emphasis on the relationships we have with other people. But what about that relationship that we have with ourselves? We're so hard on ourselves all the time. We're trying to hold ourselves up to this super high standard that society feels like we need to hold ourselves up to, but we need to remember to have compassion for ourselves, the mistakes that we make, knowing that they're the lessons in our lives that help us grow. And have compassion for the things that maybe we don't like about ourselves, and recognizing that those are places also to grow. Showing up to your mat today is a wonderful way to honor yourself and honor your body and honor your mind. And these are really crazy times that we live in, so this is a perfect time just to relax and take care of yourself. So one more time, doing a long scan of the body, noticing if there's anywhere in the body that you're holding on to something, you're squeezing, or you're not relaxing, and just letting that go. You can stay in this as long as you want. I am going to sign off and let you guys leave here or stay here for as long as you want or as little as you want. And the next class will be tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific time and 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I will post a new link on Facebook and a new link on my Instagram. It's gonna be a little bit more rigorous than this. So if you want a full flow, that's definitely gonna be what it's gonna be like tomorrow. So again, I invite you to stay in Shavasana as long as you need to. But thank you for joining me this morning, and I will see you again soon. Namaste.